The more I've thought about this, the more it kind of annoys me. Obviously, there's going to be fanboys across all sides. We're all going to kind of have that about ourselves. I know I certainly did. I have years of evidence of that on this channel alone. Now, when it comes to what's actually happening with Sony right now, I find the defense behind it to be utterly reprehensible. And it sounds silly because it is silly. But at the same time, when you look at what people are doing with this news that Sony has a lot of the stuff that should just be basic features for free that, the other companies offer for free, well, at least Microsoft anyway, you sort of question, the validity of the people that are kind of defending this stuff. Now, I'm not calling out anybody specifically, but I will say this. I did a video where the IGN guy, Destin Legary, made a little tongue-in-cheek kind of comment about, he wishes he could charge $10 more to play games on the Series X and S like PlayStation 5 does. He wishes that he could only stream Xbox 360 games the way that only PlayStation can only stream PS3 games, and wishes that demos and stuff like that could be behind a paywall. Obviously, cloud saves are behind a paywall. The fact that so many people are freaking damage controlling this has made me utterly annoyed and pissed off. I think I feel like 2014-ish, somewhere in there, as I'm that guy right now. I don't know what the deal is. I'm in DMs with several people, and there's a lot of back and forth going on right now where, hey, let's ignore this by Sony, the fact that basic stuff in 2022 like a cloud save is locked behind a paywall. Demos are locked behind a paywall, almost as expensive for the PlayStation Plus premium tier or whatever, but it doesn't offer day one PlayStation exclusives. Instead, it just offers game demos, right? And I guess there's rumors that developers don't have to do anything for those, which that's great. But the fact of the matter is, game demos, that's your huge perk for PlayStation Plus. Game demos. The big perk for being an Xbox Game Pass subscribers is playing games day and date, day one. And the big perk for PlayStation is game demos. And so the funny thing is a lot of people are kind of hating on Destin. I have my own kind of back and forth with him back in the day. It kind of is what it is, but to be honest with you, I'm sort of the live and let live, forgive and forget type of guy, right? Honestly, I am. It's just I don't have time for the hate, and I think PlayStation 5 is good, but like I did in a video not too long ago, I was talking about how Xbox 360, I played that more than Xbox lately, or PlayStation lately, and it's just funny to me because I look at my actual tweet and I see Destin made that little joke or whatever, and there's people that are bringing up, I guess, his Patreon or whatever and trying to compare the two. I mean, listen, Destin is a content creator. He's not I think it's apples to oranges that people are trying to bring this up. I don't know if it's a Patreon or it's his thing through YouTube or whatever, but it's his content, and he's just one guy or whatever, and I'm not trying to make excuses for him, but there's a huge difference between one person and a whole corporation just kind of doing things that should be pretty much free. In my day, demos were free. I don't understand why these simple features that we've had, and this has been an argument of mine for a long time. Why is it that simple things that we had previously are now premium features? Backwards compatibility should not be behind a paywall. Demos should not be behind a paywall. Cloud save should not be behind a paywall. And $10 more per game for what? I haven't yet seen why that is such a key factor yet. I understand inflation, trust me, but I just think that they haven't really explained that exactly well. Playing something slightly better. Again, because there's precedent. There's PCs, which I understand these consoles aren't PCs, but there's also the Xbox side where you can put stuff that's backwards compatible. A lot of the time it'll play its absolute best just because it's playing on the better hardware. So why is that a thing on Xbox but not a thing on PlayStation? And then people are acting like PlayStation is just this huge consumer friendly get up, and I just look at things and I just kind of question the thought process behind this whole thing. I really do wish that Microsoft and Sony could be. Listen, neither one of them are 100% consumer friendly. Let's just get that out of the way real quick. I'm the first to admit that neither one of them are like fully 100% consumer friendly. Obviously, there's going to be situations and circumstances where the business side of things takes over. But the fact of the matter is, people have been asking for backwards compatibility, no matter how minute. It's still a thing that can be done in this particular day and age. Same thing with like cloud saves and stuff like that. There is no way that cloud saves in 2022 should be locked behind a paywall. That's just a silly thing at this point, and I don't know why anyone would defend that. I actually had somebody in a comment section where I made a comment mention that I could just use a USB port. I'm like, man, it's 2022, and you're talking about USB, a USB port, and then plugging that in and manually saving it. Like, listen, whenever I have a save or whatever on Xbox, it just saves it, right? And then I can just use it. It saves it to the console, saves it to the cloud. It's not a hard concept. But, listen, just the way I didn't defend Xbox when they had 2 years without exclusive games, how can anybody defend PlayStation when they're doing like these weird anti-consumer moves and they're supposed to be like, this is their big deal? It's Malibu Stacy with the new hat, folks. I know some people might not get that comparison, but it's 100% that, right? Like, PlayStation is just like, here we are, right? Let me just point this out and show you how weird this is. PlayStation Now had hundreds of games in it. You could stream PS3 games. You could download, I believe, some PS1 and PS2 games. You could download PS4 games or whatever, right? Hundreds of games on it. It was $60 a year. Now, if you just wanted that service in and of itself, you can't get that right now by yourself. Or you can get, but you won't be able to, right? Like, to get that simple service is now costing double that price. So while people are quick to point out the Xbox Live Gold issue, I haven't seen anybody really point out that issue. And I think that's a problem in and of itself. Why is it okay for Sony to take away something and then put it into a higher tier and be like, hey, we're going to put some demos in there too. How about that? Yeah, it's great. I just feel like it's people are really kind of off the wall with some of this stuff. And I don't understand, to use a popular word that I just learned of recently or more recently, capping for something, right? Or basically lying for it. It doesn't make sense. It's okay to come out and think that something isn't right or that something isn't exactly how it should be or isn't consumer friendly. I don't understand why people are so quick to defend it. I mean, I've done that in the past for sure, but I think as time moves along, it's one of the things where I would hope that as gamers we move past that and just ask for things to be better. Otherwise, they're never going to get better, right? Like, how will Sony know that they're kind of doing stupid things if we aren't there to kind of let them know, hey, this isn't something I want? And hopefully you guys understand where I'm coming from this. It's like, damn, man, these things are all stuff that's standard on Xbox. It's 2022. I don't understand. Help me understand. How is this cool? Right? Like, game demos, great. Paying for game demos, we're talking demos, man. Demos. How is that a thing? It's ridiculous. I'm out.